man we've all been waiting for. This is Mr. Kevin Kaul.
Thanks, Rosalind. We have known each other for a long time. Thanks for coming. It's a pleasure seeing you again. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm the founder of this Global Peace Through Global Trade organization, started in 2006. And by profession, I'm an engineer. And at a very young age, I had the opportunity to build one of the best ports of Asia. So I gained a lot of experience in ICP contracts, international contracts, nation building, because I believe engineers build nations. And that's why we see a country like China, where out of the 5 presidents, I think all of them are engineers. And the present President Xi Jinping's wife is also an engineer. So engineers build nations, and I hope one day comes that America is also going to have more engineers in politics than attorneys. India and America has something in common as a democratic nation. 80% of the politicians are attorneys. And China has 80% of the politicians in China are engineers. And that is why China is an example which has grown so fast in the last 40 years because of engineers' background. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason this platform was started was primarily that America as a nation, with the fiduciary responsibility for the leaders of this nation, have only built 4 nations in the last 75, maybe 80 years after World War II. And those 4 nations don't even speak English, unfortunately. They left behind 196 countries to be developed still. And those 4 nations are Japan, number 1, Germany, number 2, Korea, which is called South Korea, China, Dubai. All these 5 nations that I talked about don't speak the language English. And I don't know why, with what political interest, that America is not taking care of 195 countries. There are 24 nations in Latin America. There are 54 nations in Africa. There are 48 nations in Asia. Caribbean is another 12 nations. So all these nations are still pending to be developed. And the best way to develop it is the City of Angels, because between San Diego and Santa Barbara, the top industries of most of the, like in San Diego, you have Qualcomm, telecom giant. You come down further, biotech giants. Come down further, oil and gas, Chevron, Arco. Go down further, Hollywood. In 40 square miles, the total media and entertainment industry worldwide is $3 trillion. Almost $2.9 trillion is just restricted within 40 square miles. That which makes California the 5th largest economy in the world, and that is the reason we would like everybody to come to Los Angeles, because 200 nations are right here. Leaderships of 200 nations, as Latin American, as African American, Indo-American, South Asian Americans, these are the brains, the best brains of those nations. And those best brains of the nations are passionate about seeing their own nation develop. That is the only passion I see with every American immigrant in this nation who have come today, who have come 100 years ago, who has come 200 years ago. As a country of immigrants, this country, everybody is only passionate about building their own nation, but they don't have a platform. They don't have the experience. And that is the expertise that this US Global Business Forum as a global platform helps them. I get very disappointed when I see in India that the Undersecretary of Trade, Commercial Service, many years ago under President Bush's regime, he comes to India with a trade delegation of only 20 members, a country that has $10 trillion to offer to America. $10 trillion business, Under Secretary Levin comes with 20 people, not even the CEO level. And I asked him, do you think India has only a vice president of Johnson Group or some group or construction group, and you are leading a trade delegation with 20 members, 20 companies? So these are the kind of things that, like President John Kennedy rightly said, what can you do for your country? What can you offer to your nation? This is the platform. As Americans, we would like to bring business to America. From Latin America, from Africa, from Asia, from European Union. There is no governor that takes a trade delegation to India, but they will take it to China. I don't know why. China is a nation sleeping with the enemy. We build them, they are our threat today. So what is the point building a nation when they are like sleeping with the enemy? I tell every political entity, why you have not thought about India as a destination? Why don't you take? I told the mayor, Eric Garcetti, very clearly. And he promised me, first thing he's going to do is take a trade delegation to India. Never did. 8 years. I asked Howard Berman, as the Foreign Relations Committee chairman,